Hi, Visions. Welcome to this session of the 2025 Virtual Curriculum Fair. I'm joined by Sharon, who will be sharing about Hiveclass. Sharon, go ahead.
Thanks so much, Kaylee. Excited to be with you all and to share a little bit more about Hiveclass and the solution we offer for physical education. So I'm going to just go through this briefly, like the overview, but I'll actually show you a demo of the actual product itself so you understand how it works. But essentially, Hiveclass PE is a skills-based, self-directed, and fully asynchronous physical education curriculum platform. I know that's a mouthful, but essentially it's a way for students to be able to really create their own PE journey and to explore amongst currently 19 different sports, physical, and wellness activities on our platform. So we know that for a lot of our sort of personalized learning charter schools in California, what they do is either the child is involved in youth sports and is very competitive and takes it very seriously, or they're writing, I walk the dog for 20 minutes, right? And they're not really learning any new skills. Either they're not as interested or they don't have the resources to be able to do those types of youth sports. And so we really help break down those barriers and make it a fun way to explore these types of activities and a way to actually learn new skills and know that you're meeting state and national PE standards. So it's rigorous as well. So as I mentioned, we are aligned with state and national PE standards. And the way that our curriculum is built is that you'll see different names for the tasks, which I'll show you in a moment. Those different names are sort of with our marketing branding, be skillful, be competent. They actually refer back to the Shape America standards. So that's why they're labeled that way. So it's easy to know what you're actually learning there. As I mentioned, we have currently 19 different courses, but we're always adding new content and new courses. So, if a student signs up, I'm sure the year that they're with us, they'll see new things pop up. We have tons and tons of skill-based videos and these different areas, which I'll go over in a moment. And then the entire platform is available in Spanish as well. If I don't show that later, know that with a click of a button, everything turns into Spanish, including we have native Spanish speakers who did the voiceovers, as well as all the written content is in Spanish as well. And then there's a way, which I'll show you, to send work samples, because I know that's usually a part of the process. Very simple. There's a My Activity tab, and they're able to save that and send it to whoever they need to as well. And then the course list is there on the right. As I said, we're always adding new things, but you can see we have lots of different, traditional ball-based sports like tennis and volleyball and soccer, but we also have things like self-defense and dance and mindfulness because we really know that everyone has different interests and we want there to be something for everyone. Okay, so just to kind of go over our learning content and our approach to how we teach these things and hopefully inspire kids to get moving is our curriculum is divided into these three different areas. So we have these skill videos. They're all short form. It's the age of TikTok. It's hard to keep folks, engaged. So these skill videos are between 1 to 3 minutes long. And we are isolating the individual skill and the most foundational skills you need for that activity. So if we're talking about learning strength and conditioning, we're going to learn one movement and go over that in one video, right? Really bite-sized pieces and a way for you to really practice it and master those skills before you go to the next. It's not going to be a huge 20-minute thing where you need to learn all the rules of the game. And if you're wondering, we are focused on the individual skill, as I mentioned. So it's not going to be like you need to be out on the tennis court with your partner hitting back and forth. We know that's not going to work. What we're going to do is we're going to learn the movements for the forehands or the serves from home. You could do it in your living room, in your bedroom, right? We need to learn how to move our bodies in that particular way. And so it's not really focused on the gameplay. And then we also cover lots of character development activities and tasks. They're embedded throughout. So there's, scenarios that are given to students. They can write their responses. How would you deal with this sort of situation? Sportsmanship, someone being left out, being embarrassed about something. This is such an easy way for us to really embed those things with physical education, right? It just comes up naturally when you're active in doing these types of activities. And then lastly, the concepts and principles. That would cover all the different types of written content we have. So we infuse, sometimes math activities, calculating heart rate. We're talking about the history of basketball, opportunities and careers in soccer. There's a lot of different stuff there to really infuse that cross-curricular learning and reinforce those things that they're learning, alongside the actual movement itself. So we know a lot of other options only do this part of it, but don't actually get kids to move. And so we have included all of it into one. All right, so that's it for this part of it. I guess we'll go over questions after. So let me jump over then to the platform. Are you looking at the platform now? Okay. All right, wonderful. So this is what you see when you log into Hiveclass. It's very simple. You would log in with your email and password, and then all these tiles represent those different courses. So we try to keep things as limited in terms of space and equipment, knowing that kids are doing this from home, right? So we will need a soccer ball at some point and a tennis racket for those things. But like I said, you won't need to be on a court or a field to do these things. You can do them in your backyard. And then a number of our courses don't require any equipment at all. So things like mindfulness, self-defense, fitness, yoga don't require any of that. And you could do nearly all of the videos from no more than a beach towel amount of space. So I think for the sake of example, so I can share with you all the structure and how it works, I'm going to do fitness because that is our #1 most popular course. And we're actually going to be adding a ton more videos to this course, as well as yoga and I believe dance sometime in summer. So when we click into a course, this is what you're going to see. There's typically a warm-ups and or a workout unit, and that's what it sounds like. They're just sequential videos and activities to get you ready for further exercise, right? Just to get you warmed up and the blood moving. But the real heart of the content are these different numbered units. So we made it really simple. 1 through 4, those are your units. Everything you see was developed by kinesiologists, certified PE teachers, experts in the field. And so what makes this different is that this is a curriculum that is scaffolded. So if you start at the very beginning, we're going to learn the most foundational things, and then it's going to increase in difficulty. And it's going to call back to some of those skills you're going to learn earlier in the curriculum. So you would want to start at 1. So click into Unit 1, and now we see these 5 lessons pop up on the left. This is sort of our prepackaged way of giving you lessons that are easy to follow. Of course, depending on the grade level of the student or their interests, they can do what they like. But if they want to just follow our pre-structured way of doing it, it's pretty easy. So within each of the lessons, you have a number of tasks, right? And as I just previously covered, there'll be concepts and principles, there'll be character development, and then those skill videos that I was talking about. So this very first task is a reflection, right? It's like before we even get started, let's check kind of what our confidence level is with this. Then we have a warm-up video, and then these Be Skillfuls. Again, this refers back to the Shape America standards. That's the governing body for physical education in the US. We are learning new skills, right? So you can see jog in place, very simple, but that's because we are in Unit 1, of course, right? And we're starting with the very basics. I will play this video for you so you get an idea of what one of our videos looks and sounds like. So all of our videos follow the I do, we do, you do method of teaching, right? So in this first kind of minute of the video, we imagine the student is observing and watching the athlete demonstrate the skill. They got the, verbal instruction and the closed captioning and all that. And then I paused it at what I like to call the active challenge. So now this is where it's the we do part of it. This is where now we want the student to stand up and move alongside the video for guidance and practice it. And of course, they can rewind it as many times as they need until they're able to do it on their own, which is the you do part, right? So really simple. this is the structure of, our 1,800 videos across the platform. And you can see here, we have also included some challenges and modifications. So if you're not able to do this quite yet, here's another way of doing it. In a lot of our newer courses, you'll actually see the athlete demonstrating the modified way of doing the skill. So that's just one way we're trying to build more accessibility, trying to meet students where they are, because we know everyone has a different background or level of confidence. So there's that. Again, here's another example of one of our concepts and principles. We're learning about the FIT principle. What does that mean? How does it work? And then we have a quick little assessment to be able to test for understanding. If you go into the later units, unit 4 or 5 will have summative assessments that will have longer, questions. So that's why it's important to kind of go through the curriculum. And then we're learning about different types of heart rate. So that's one example of one lesson, but you can see it's a similar thing across the other lessons. We're reviewing some of the skills we learned before. We're learning other types of concepts here, calculating heart rate, right? We learned the video, we had the video content for it, but now let's actually calculate it ourselves. So a very comprehensive approach to physical education, and making it so that it is really self-directed. While I'm here, I just want to point out the assistive tech. If you saw, I just clicked on this little green button. So for those students who have maybe a variation of color blindness or would like a bigger text, there's also like the screen reader here. If you click on this profile, you can see that there's this cool screen reader that's available to them. Another way we're building accessibility, and it's tied to the individual account, so it'll remember it the next time they log in. So that's generally the structure of all of our different courses, follows that. Again, it's up to the student how they want to do that, if they want to skip around, if they want to follow our order. But what's great about that is even if they skip around, they're still able to show their work samples. So I'm going to just go back and show you where that goes. So at the top here, they would click on My Activity, and then they would select the course that they worked on. So we were just in fitness. And then now you see the list of all the things that I have done, right? So the survey, the different videos, you can see you'll see the answers to the quiz assessments that I have done. And one thing is, it will not show as completed, this little check mark. The task will not show up here unless the student has watched at least 80% of the video. We know that they can, get smart and kind of click around and see, oh, is that going to just show up as done? It won't. So it will only pop up here after that. So what they can do here easily is they can just go to like Control P, or Command P to print. But here you can see, you can just save it as a PDF, making it really simple to then send it as an email or upload it to whatever portal they might be using to share work samples, right? So again, if they skipped around, they'd still be able to show all the work they have done depending on what course it's in. All right, so while we're here, I just want to explain a couple other things. So all this content is standards aligned for 6 through 12, and a lot of it is appropriate for elementary. I know you probably know many elementary school kids who do dance, who can do gymnastics, who can do parts of soccer. Maybe they won't be able to quite do some of those assessments yet because their reading skills are not quite there. But there's a ton of this that is appropriate for elementary aged kids. And good news is that we have specific elementary curriculum that is going to be rolled out over the next 6 months. And so right now it just says coming soon, but this will be organized differently. I want to just give you all kind of an insight into what it is. So right now we have it organized by course or sport, right? But for elementary, it's going to be around the different developmental skill areas for that grade level. So it's not going to be kindergarten soccer, but it will be locomotor skills, manipulative skills, and different lead up games that a child can practice to get those skills mastered, right? So for each grade in elementary, it will be built out that way. And of course, we would have developmentally appropriate concepts and principles. We're not going to throw you massive text with all this vocabulary. So that will be there and ready to go by the next school year if you are a parent or you have a lot of students who are, elementary. But again, a lot of what we have already is appropriate for those ages. And then this is just a fun one to point out. It's why PE is important. We thought, kids are often just asked to do something without knowing why it's important. Here at Hiveclass, we really believe that physical education is so important for students' entire lifetime. This is where they learn these attitudes and build confidence and learn why movement and physical activity is important for the rest of their life. So here we have videos talking about the impact on your brain, for your body, and for your future. So just a way to like get kids involved in understanding why this is important. So yeah, you can see it's pretty easy to use. It's very user-friendly, simple for our kids who are very digitally literate to utilize. And I said I would promise to show you this. So here where it has my name, I can just click on Espanol, and now everything you see is in Spanish. So all of the written content, all of that is there as well. And then another thing to note is if you are worried about putting it back in English, what you'll need for each unit, we let you know here. So in unit 1, you just need a space and basketball, right? So that makes it even easier to know what you want to go into. But yeah, we really like the aspect that it allows folks to choose and have that personalization instead of, you know, in your traditional PE class, it'd be like, all right, everyone is going to do run a mile, right? And so this is their way of really learning new skills and exploring. All right. Questions I can answer, Kaylee? Anyone
Yeah,
has any?
Sharon, thank you so much for
Sure,
presenting. I'm going to go ahead and stop our
absolutely.
recording at this point.
Okay.